Hi everyone, Chris Lloyd here. How are you doing? Um, this is going to be a little bit different today, a little bit. I'm not really sure what I'm going to talk about. Um, you'll probably notice I'm going to talk a lot slower, more slowly. Um, I have so much that I want to share with people. And I guess it all stems from how happy I am now and have been for a couple of years compared to how unhappy I used to be. And just wanting to share that with as many people as possible. Not the fact that I am, but the fact that it's possible, and for you, if you don't feel that, for you to be able to feel that. So it's kind of like, on one part, it's a message of hope. But what I really want to do is try and tell you how to get to the same place. But I have been finding it very hard to do that. And for the last few months, I've been looking at different ways of going about it, but I think I've been looking in the wrong place. But anyway, so I've come to this point today where I'm just going to talk to you about things. I'm going to be talking a lot more slowly than I usually do, because what I've noticed is when I talk fast, it's like my aim is to make a video and get a video out there for you. But that's not really my deeper aim. My deeper aim is really more centered around being me and you guys seeing what that entails so that you can have it for you. So a lot of what I've learned has shown me that how to live a happier life and a less troubled life does not come from an instruction manual, and it's very hard to get it by Googling it, so to speak. But it is possible to get it. Like, I'm even now trying to put it into conceptual terms for you, but it is possible to get it by kind of feeling your way there. But obviously, not obviously, but also you're going to need some guidance. So I've had guidance, but I have spent thousands and thousands of pounds on trying to be happy, and I don't want to use the word wasted, but a lot of that wasn't the answer. A lot of the money I spent wasn't the answer. But a couple of coaches that I've invested in have helped me to find the answer. Now, most of the time, that is through spending time with them and talking to them rather than absorbing lessons themselves. And that is hard for the human mind to understand and comprehend, I think. Or it certainly was for me, and from what I see around the world, I think that's the case in general. So when I look around, I see a lot of people who seem to be in a general state of unhappiness. Now, I'm not talking about on the extreme edges of unhappiness, although I can talk to those people as well. I'm talking about a general people living in a general feeling of unease all the time. And it's kind of like they're often carrying this weight or this burden of the thinking that goes on inside their heads. And it's kind of like this constant thinking is causing a general state of anxiety and stress. And no matter which end of the spectrum you're on of stress and anxiety and thinking, and when I say thinking, I'm talking about negative chatter and just general chatter that is just generally negative. I'm talking about the full spectrum of that. People just seem to be, it's gradually bringing them down. It's like the weight of it is bringing them down. And that is causing mental health problems, but it also causes, because it's causing stress and there's anxiety, it's causing problems with the body as well. So it's causing physical health to be affected, which is, to me, that's a signal. These things are like early warning signs. So if you see there's something wrong with your body, whether it's like some sort of rash coming out, or putting weight on, or losing too much weight, there's so many different things that can happen, getting ill often, then it's quite often can be a sign for you to, it's almost like one mentor that I listened to, he said that these things are like love letters to your heart. They're like telling you, they're warning systems telling you that there's something going on that you can change, and that's really what I want to talk about, is there's hope. So there's things I want to share, and I'm not really sure how, at the moment, I'm not really sure how I'm going to keep going about that. But what I've noticed is that I reply to a lot of Facebook posts in groups that I'm in, where there's people, so all sorts of groups, even like business groups, parenting groups, weight loss groups, fitness groups. But whenever I see a post where somebody's feeling negative emotions, I quite often get drawn to answer and try and help them out. So actually, someone who gives me marketing advice said this to me, to make a note of these times when I answer, because that's me really coming from my heart and from my inspiration, is to make a note of these things and then turn them into videos or articles or posts of my own, where I talk about them and help a wider audience rather than just the person I'm talking to. I think the problem was that I was always trying to find the perfect answer for people, or talk about things that are currently relevant to me. And of course, what's currently relevant to me and where I am in my, I hate these words, personal development, but in my journey, is not going to be relevant to everybody else out there, but things that I've done will be. So yeah, I'm just going to try and pick out some of those things and relate them to what's happened to me, what I've done, and share them with you guys. And then if you like what I'm saying and I'm getting the feedback that lets me know to do more, or to go into certain subjects, or more on a certain subject, then I am really, really willing to do that. And of course, I've also got my own coaching business, so if you're interested in coaching, then getting this stuff on a one-to-one basis is going to help you even more. So yeah, it's about just sharing as much as I can and seeing where it lands with you guys. So there was a question in a Facebook group that I'm in the other day, and I think it would be a good idea if I read it out to you. So actually I didn't know that I was going to say this, so it's not very well prepared. But basically it was one of those posts where somebody just asked, here's the question now. It said, please share your experience of meditation and what results you got from meditation. Now, as soon as I see that question, I'm already thinking that the person who's asking it is probably asking from a place of ego. Now, when I say ego, I mean a place of ego is the separation where we think we are a complete self-identity and we are separate from everything else, and that is for some people the only identity that they live in. And that is certainly the only identity I used to live in until about, I think it was like 2013, so 7.5 years ago at least, when I had my kind of first experience that gave me the realization that maybe thinking of myself as an I, just me, Chris, as separate from everything else, could be wrong, that it could be wrong. And it was basically from excuse me, from looking in the mirror for a bit longer than I usually would, which at the time wasn't very long at all, and not liking what I saw, and actually speaking that out to myself, maybe not aloud, but actually looking at myself in the mirror and going something along the lines of you disgust me, and me thinking, well, hang on a minute, which one's the you and which one's the me? Anyway, that was the start of me investigating my self-identity and coming across terms like ego and consciousness and awareness and stuff like that, and realizing that I was living in a existence completely separate and disconnected from anything else. So when I saw this post, my first instinct was that the way the question was formed, what result you got by meditation, and I could be completely wrong here, but I'm just telling you what came to me, was that they're looking to use meditation to get a particular result. Now, what I have seen over the years, and I started meditating almost immediately in 2013 once I started looking into this ego and self-identity and stuff. And a little bit of the reason that I meditated was that I saw that people who were doing very well in their lives were meditating. So I was the same. I kind of thought there'd be some result, like doing meditation would give me a result. So say I would be happier by doing meditation. And over the years I've realised that that's not quite what's going on. That's not what's gone on for me. Okay, so I'm not saying what happened for me is what's going to happen for everyone else, but if you've tried a lot of things and you're not happy, I would suggest you just listen and spend time with people who have that state. Don't ask them necessarily for the instruction manual, but spend time with them. Okay, so I haven't really prepared this because that's not the way I want to do these videos, but so this person put this post. Now, to me, this is what I replied, and I'm going to say it word for word. Meditation to me is a practice tool to help me spend more time in the present moment, open bracket, rather than stuck in mental chatter and ego, close bracket. Being present more of the time has in capitals, completely changed my life. So in that moment when I was replying to him, I felt that the answer to give was that being present was something that had completely changed my life. Now, I'm not saying it's the only thing that completely changed my life, but it definitely was a big part of completely changing my life. So what am I saying there? Well, when we're present and not stuck in mental chatter. Now, when you're in mental chatter and inside your head, as people say, you're generally thinking about the future or the past. You know, what did I do wrong in the past? Who did I do this to in the past? That brings people down. What's going to happen in the future? Have I got enough of this? How am I going to cope with that? That sort of mental chatter. And not much of it is about what's going on right, excuse me, in this present moment. Just get a drink. Just had a big bowl of nuts and ripping my throat apart now. So yeah, a lot of the mental chatter is from not being in the present moment. Now, to me, that now sounds like, oh, yeah, that's like really obvious. So I don't know how that sort of connects to you if you're someone that hasn't really heard it like that before. But yeah, meditation to me is a practice tool to help me spend more time in the present moment. So when I first started learning about ego, it became apparent very quickly that I was spending a lot of my time in my own head, being anxious. So like I was a serious heavy drinker, overweight. I'd already stopped smoking at the time, gambling. So I was like doing a lot of things that were kind of like, I didn't realise at the time, but I was using them to take me away. They were things that took me away from the constant feeling of, and it was, it was probably only slight, but like the negative mental chatter and the negative feeling and the anxiety and the stress. And I realised that I needed to spend more time being present. And that when you're in the present moment, it's like you've got your to-do list of 10 things, but you can only do one at a time, which is why I always say, like, a to-do list. I have lists, but it's generally got the things on it that would be a problem if I forgot to do them. So it's not like a list of things and I need to tick them off and what have you. It's just like some things that I'm going to be in trouble if I forget them. But yeah, that's kind of not living in the present moment. Now, when I'm in the present moment, I can only really do one action. And I found it to be a massive help to me. So say I'm working, doing some work, say I'm writing. If anything else is on my mind, my writing is poor, difficult, almost, probably invisible, in fact, probably wouldn't even do it. But when I get present and then find it very easy to relax and just allow things to happen, I actually find that it seems to almost come through me. It just seems to flow a lot better. And yeah, sometimes I generally now tend to do it in sort of 20-minute spurts, or sometimes even up to like 40-minute spurts. And then I will almost push myself to walk away and just relax a bit, and then come, because I've gone beyond the point of being inspired almost. But anyway, that's kind of a different subject. But being present is where all the good action comes from, really. And what I learned quickly was that it wasn't very easy, because the thoughts go bang, 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 and it's like stopping thoughts and trying trying to have positive thoughts all the time is actually quite hard work. Thoughts is something that we kind of don't really have much control over. They seem to just come into our head. I think we have 70,000 thoughts a day. And I don't think from my investigation that we have a lot to do with thought. They just come. And then it's kind of up to us a bit more what we do with them. But if you're not present, it's almost impossible to do anything with them because you're in the chatter. You spend your life in the chatter. So the thought comes and you're involved in it. That is your identity at the moment. Is that thought comes in and you think it's you, it's part of your identity, and it just sort of grabs you and takes hold of you and you're off in it. So what I learned was that being present is kind of like an awareness of that happening. So for me now, when a thought comes, it's like there's another level of me that's behind the thought, which is probably called awareness. Excuse me. Probably called awareness, that sees that and then can make some decisions about what to do with it. And I think that's what most people are missing, that part there, the awareness. Most people are, the thought comes in and bang, they're trapped. They're like, because they think that's how life is, they're embroiled in the story that's created by that thought. And that, so the awareness that I've got now, which is kind of like the level, I'm not going to say above, the deeper level within me of thinking, allows me to make decisions about whether I need to carry on thinking about that, whether I want to snap back into what I'm doing. And I'm not going to say that I never get caught up in a thought that I might later wish I hadn't, because it is true that this thought system that we are blessed with, it is super useful, has the ability to trap you, like fool you into going into the movie. But it doesn't happen very often now, and if it does, it's not for very long. So yeah, the conversation sort of went on. So this guy replied, funnily enough, this guy replied and he said, wow, because I'd said it completely changed my life. How much time for you to start getting results? So again, I'm already like, oh, I don't want this person to think that meditating is like a way to get supersonic results. Meditate. So I'll tell you what I replied. I'll tell you it word for word. I can't remember what I put exactly. I know what lines it'll be. I put, well, I kind of had an insight to begin with. It was along the lines of, Chris, you're not really who you think you are. And it freaked me out. But it pushed me into learning about being present and how I was never really present before that moment, as I've just said. The results in terms of happiness were almost immediate, and they keep getting better and better. And it started around 7 years ago. Now I've got 4 businesses. I've quit alcohol, gambling, cigarettes. I'm at my ideal body weight, etc., etc. And I still can't believe the transformation, which is kind of true. But on another level, I actually can believe it. And then I asked this person, how about you? Are you meditating? And then in brackets I put, by the way, I don't actually sit and meditate anymore. It's just part of my daily way of life. So when I'm at my desk, walking, even when I'm talking to other people, I can be in a state of meditation. So to elaborate on that, to get this level of awareness behind the thought, that was what meditation was for me. It was a way of getting better at that. It was kind of just like a practice, like a tool for practicing, becoming better at watching the mental chatter and what it was doing to me. And so what I did at first was I just went online and got some Got tried many. I used to try a different one every evening. Guided meditations, I had to listen to somebody talk me through a meditation. I couldn't do it myself. And really just use it as a way of practicing the awareness, the ability to watch what's going on with the mental chatter. Now, I can't remember if this person asked something else. Yeah, they said that they'd started a week ago. But they said, but at the time of meditation, the mind is full of thoughts and I can't concentrate. What shall I do? Now, that's how I started, because there's like this perception that meditating, when you meditate, you should be sitting there and not thinking about anything. And that is completely the wrong idea of what meditation is. You'd have to be some sort of serious Zen monk to be able to do that. That is not, as far as I'm concerned, what it's about. What it's about is just taking other things away so that you can sit there and watch the thoughts come and go. And just see what is happening in your mind. It's this awareness of the mental chatter that's going on. And like I say, even for me now, I don't hardly have any mental chatter like that at all. Certainly not negative. But thoughts come that are not useful, but I'm able to just kind of bat them away. It's like, well, that's not much use. But you can't do that if you don't see them come. If you're not aware of it being there, even if you've got trapped in a story for 20 minutes or an hour or a day, you've got to be aware of that's what's happened. And I certainly wasn't before I had, it wasn't the realisation that did it for me, but that realisation that I had an ego was the start of the investigation that made me come to this point. So yeah, maybe that's all I want to say about this. So kind of to summarise, meditation is a practice tool, but only for awareness, only for being more conscious of what's going on in the mind. It doesn't by itself stop it. But having the awareness will make it happen far less often. It will stop you going so deep into a thought, especially an unnecessary thought. Now, if you're having a good thought that's serving you and giving you good feelings, you can let it carry on. And that's fantastic. That's something I do. Like, I watch movies. I watch a movie and that's not real. And I can allow myself to be in the movie. But I can also have a thought about something negative and go, that's not serving me. I'm going to not bother with that. And basically let the next set of thoughts come and go. Or do something else. But you've got to have the awareness, and that's what meditation is for. It's just for practice. It's just a tool to get better. Now, as I say, I don't even meditate as in what people think of meditation practices anymore, and I know a lot of people who don't, who've gone, it's kind of like you go past that stage of sitting quietly and having no sensory interruptions around, so that you can focus. But I'm at the stage now, it's seven years since I first meditated, where I am kind of almost in a constant state of meditation, where I'm watching the thoughts come and go. It doesn't take any effort. As I say, sometimes I still get trapped. But yeah, it's just kind of like a continual practice where every now and then I'll just be like, what's going on? Now, funnily enough, we were talking about something in my weight loss support group, actually, about people who I asked a question about how often people weigh themselves, and I weigh myself every single day, even though I've been comfortable with my weight for a good few years now. But that's kind of another like awareness tool that I use, where I just weigh myself. It's in the bathroom. I'm probably shaving while I do it, and I weigh myself. And if I'd put a few pounds on over, a few days, so like an average, I wouldn't like do it over one day, but my weight had gone up, I'd be like, perhaps you're not, because generally if you put weight on, you're using the food for its wrong purpose. Now it could just be that you think, I'm not even sure whether to go into this. No, I'm not going to go into this because it's going to change the subject a little bit. But I would, if I had put weight on, I would be like, oh, what's going on here? There's got to be something. I'm not being as fully aware of what's going on as I usually would be. And that's what it would do. It would tell me just to, oh, hang on a minute, just like make sure that you're spending time in awareness. And I'd have to go back to having the practice tool. Now, I probably wouldn't have to go right the way back to meditation, but I might even do something like on my phone, put an alarm to go off every 2 hours or something, just to go, are you in awareness? Have you spent much time in awareness, or is the mental chatter taking over? And just, focus on that. But I've got to be honest, it's not really happened to me like that. As I say, I still have times where I get caught up in it. I think that's probably enough for today. I can't believe I've been talking for half an hour, so it would be kind of amazing if anyone's listened this far. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, I shall be talking more and more like this. I'll do short talks and some long talks. I'll probably even put this into shorter versions to try and help people. But yeah, give me some feedback. I accept some people are going to say this is too long, but tell me and I'll try and do shorter ones. But sometimes I'm just going to do videos like this where I just let things come out. I don't actually believe that it's me as an ego talking to you anyway. I think it's all part of our conscious, our one consciousness, and it's just expressing itself through me to kind of help you, another part of the consciousness. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys. It's Friday afternoon. I'm looking forward to the kids and Helen getting back from work and chilling out this weekend. Hope you're looking forward to a good weekend. I'll speak to you all soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.